Okay, Jeremy, can you hear us? Jeremy from Sky. Jeremy, can you hear us? Jeremy from Sky. He's on mute, so he is on mute. Jeremy, can you hear us? Jeremy from Sky?
Yes, hello.
Great, fire us away. Please do start us off, mate.
Yeah, hi Steve, how you doing?
Morning, very good, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, very good. Can we just check on the fitness situation after the test match? Is everyone okay? And update us on Dan Bigger if you could, and where Finn Russell is right now.
Yeah, so Biggs is just going through return to play well protocols. Yeah, he was good in the change room, so he's starting to do those now. Finn is going to be back in training this week, and then Wyn Jones has got a minor shoulder injury, so he's probably going to be doubtful for the test match, but those are the only concerns we've got at the minute.
Steve, what are your reflections on Saturday? Is it a stick or twist selection-wise, do you think, for the second test?
No, I think we'll have a debate tonight in around selection. We talk through the game and probably focus more on where we can get better as a team going into the second test match. So we'll probably have a little bit of review. There was lots of good performances and probably lots of areas that we can improve on going into the second test. But to answer your question, we'll probably debate selection a little bit more tonight.
Erasmus has been making some interesting comments on Twitter about the test match. He was quite magnanimous in defeat on Saturday, but yet appears to be backing a Twitter account which has been highlighting errors in the refereeing of the match. I mean, what do you make of it?
Oh, look, I think being a bit of a dinosaur myself, I'm not on Twitter and things. I'm just having lots of USA, but ultimately, look, it's his viewpoint. We'll just, with the officials, we thought they'd done a really good job in the weekend, and if there's anything we need to bring up, we'll just go through the appropriate channels.
What kind of response, though, are you expecting from them next time?
Oh, look, I think I don't know whether response is the right word. I think South Africa, at the end of the day, they're world champions. They put in performance after performance. You don't win World Cups from not being able to recover from things. So we know how much of a physical team they are and how much pride they've got in their performances. But ultimately, I think it's just about us looking at ourselves and where we can improve as well. As we know South Africa are going to bring physicality. You know they're a smart rugby team, but I think for us it's just more looking at ourselves and how we can improve and what we can bring more to the second test match also.
Just finally from me on Elliot Daly's performance and where you see Chris Harris right now going into the second test. What did you make of Elliot Daly on Saturday?
Oh, look, I think there's lots of good things around Elliot. There's obviously there's bits and pieces from everyone that we can tidy up, and I think where we are as a squad at the moment, you look at Chris, you look at Bundy, you got Faz in around the centre, so that there's competition right throughout the board. And again, we'll talk more selection, but I think the second half performance of the group shows us where we can get to, and ultimately we'll probably speak more about that tonight.
Thanks so much.
No probs.
Steve, if Wyn Jones isn't available for selection this weekend, does that force your hand and maybe looking to bring out a replacement? Because the initial announcement on Saturday was that at that point you didn't see the need. But if you're down to two loose heads, will you have to bring someone out?
Not at this minute in time, we won't, no.
Razzie has used the words dangerous and reckless when describing some of those tackles. Those are very emotive words, aren't they? Do we have to be a bit more careful?
Look, we just got to look at ourselves and what we do, and at the end of the day, we got to do our talking on the field and how we go about things. And at the end of the day, Ross's comments are his own comments, but I think for us, it's just more focusing on what we are, what we need to tidy up, and making sure that we're nice and clean in how we go about things.
Just on that, as a sport, if we're going to stop and micro-analyse every single incident in a game and get a TMO involved, matches are going to be 2.5, 3 hours long, and there'll be plenty of complaints about that. Where is the balance? Where's the happy medium in this, do you think?
Look, I think that's a fair point. No, we don't want the games going on forever. I think it's the major calls, like you just want to get right and spend probably the appropriate time on. But yeah, the little bits, and again, it's hard for the officials. There is so much going on, and again, I know like people are saying there's been Razzie's coming out and saying bits and pieces around the performances on the weekend, some bits miss a detail, but every team's got those moments. Every team could go through micro details and analyse it. We do it ourselves, but I think it's then going through the appropriate channels, raising the ones that are relevant and not making it about every small detail. It's just making sure those big key moments are the ones that are correct.
Half the battle during the game is picking up on the nuances of how the referee is calling it. How pleased were you with the way that the players reacted as they picked up that understanding and the penalty count actually ended up almost 2-1 in your favour?
Yeah, look, I think at half time, I think the boys were really calm and understood it. We probably we give a couple of cheap penalties away in the first half that we didn't need to, and just talking about how we can impose ourselves by being smart and around that. And I think that, like we said, the officials done a really good job, and then the balance of power changed in around the penalty count for us by looking after what we can look after. So that was really pleasing from the boys, how they adapted. And at the end of the day, the physical, intense test matches, the things that like there are, like you said, there are absolutely fine margins in lots of things, but I think we definitely got that right in the second half.
Thank you, Steve.
No problem.
Morning, Steve.
Morning.
In many ways, will this selection for the second test be every bit as difficult as the first one? You've got the guys who are left out, desperate to get in. The guys who have got the jerseys obviously are absolutely desperate to keep hold of them.
Oh, definitely, and I think you like as coaches, you've got to challenge the selections. I think you've got to like review the game, and in fairness to the group, like we talk all the time how connected they are and how like good they are for each other. You look at Tuesday's session, what the non-starters brought to training was outstanding. They really stressed us on both ends of the ball, which is really pleasing. You listen to, and I know it's probably going off point, but you listen to the noise the non-starters were making for the boys in an empty stadium was terrific. It shows, I think, the bond and that connection within the team. And I think the way they're performing in training, the way the boys have performed in the previous games, it does make those selections. I don't think it's an easy one tonight when we talk about it, because you've got lots of form from the boys that weren't involved, and also we've just won a test match in South Africa, so it's something. Yeah, to answer a long-winded question, a long-winded answer, it'll be just as difficult, I think.
I'd like to ask you about one individual, Ali Price. He probably wasn't many people's pick to be the starting line when the squad was announced, but he looked at home out there on Saturday. Can you just describe, the tour that Ali has had and the way that he's stepped up in this level?
Yeah, look, I think he's taken to it really well. He's confident. Look, he's a great human being, and he's a really good pro. And I think having the likes of Connor and Gar around as well, you see how they work off each other. And I think coming on into a Lions trip, you see different skill sets and different people. And I think that's the beauty, is that they connect really well, and also you adapt. And I think being around the Lions, the standard is absolute quality, and you pick up bits and pieces from others. But Ali's done really well, as the other two nines. So it's just making sure we build on these performances.
Cheers, Steve.
Thank you.
Hi, Steve. Gareth Griffiths here, mate. Can you hear me?
All right, Gar, how's it going?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. You mentioned there, Steve, earlier about sort of Razzie things through the official channels the Lions going through. How important is that, do you think, for the integrity of rugby, that it isn't sort of stuff isn't being done by trial, by social media?
Oh, look, I think for me, it's a tough job, and look, I know everyone moans around certain decisions, and I think it's just trying to keep it. And I know there's always frustration, and we get it as coaches, but I think if we can keep that, because it is a tough job out there for the officials, and if we can keep it to the appropriate channels, I think that's probably the best way in around that. Because, like I said, it's a tough job. It's tough for the players, tough for coaches, and it's definitely tough for the referees too.
And just one on Alan Wynne, Steve. You've known him a very long time. Just come back to play the full 80 in a test match. People have obviously been saying that. What you've known him since playing with him, but what does that mean for him to get through that full test match after what he's been through over the last month?
Oh, look, it's a phenomenal effort. Personally, it doesn't surprise me. And like I think I spoke about it last week, if there was anyone to do that, it'd be someone like him. You look at, like, I know I'm probably bore you in around what he does off the field, on the field, recovery processes, like I said, I think anyone else after the Japan game would have given up. he didn't. Like, he's straight on focus on how we can get back, and then obviously you have the speak to other people, and then he builds himself up. We were watching the training he was doing when he was back home, was just a superhuman effort, and to back up 80 minutes in a physical test match like it was in the weekend is a pretty special performance.
Thank you very much. Good luck in the weekend.
Thank you.
Hi, Steve. Warren's referenced a couple of times that the team haven't conceded a pick and go try or a maul try on the tour so far. Can you explain how much of a point of pride that is for you and the players?
Yeah, look, it's a massive like the boys is massive pride in it, and I think there's that mindset, and I think not allowing South Africa in on the weekend, lots of times, like obviously the last set they got into a 22, which the boys done really well, but it's been good, like we've been tested around there, so it's been really good to see how the attitude and appetite we've brought in around those areas, and I'm sure we're going to have to dig deep at some point over the next 2 games in around that goal line defence, maul defence, the same thing, because you know how big and physical and the maul pride that South Africa have in that, so we know we're going to have to continue with that sort of mantra and mindset in around that goal line, because we know there'll be moments where we're going to have to dig deep. You see on the weekend where they did bust us a little bit on one of the mauls, the speed Amaro gets back to turn it over, so you see the appetite and the desire from the boys to defend our line.
Thanks, Steve. Sorry, can I just clarify? You spoke about Finn and Dan Biggar situation. Finn's back in training. Does that mean he's in contention, or he would be available for selection this weekend? And does Dan's 6 days from Saturday to go through the protocol? Can you just clarify that for me?
Yeah, I think Dan should be, like, all being well, will be available to train on Thursday with the team, and then Finn is starting training with us today.
So he could come into something that he could.
Yeah, he could potentially be in the mix. Yeah, see how he pulls up. I know he's been reacting well to the training. So again, we'll discuss all that this evening.
Thanks, Sam.
No problems.
Steve, just a quick one on the scrum, if I may. I mean, to talk about a bot clash is such a cliche, but it's inevitably going to happen. Can you do much more work on your scrum this week, or do you just keep it ticking over?
I think we're always, like, Macca's reviewing stuff downstairs now this morning. There's always areas for us to improve on, whether it be scrum, defence, attack. I think, like, you can't rest in your laurels, in particular with South Africa. I thought it's a good start from us, and again, we've got to keep building, because we know what's coming. They really pride themselves on the set piece, and we know how strong they are. Well, you don't win a World Cup without having an unbelievable set piece, with something we need to continue to work on. And again, we'll have a really good training week, so we'll be able to prepare and do more work in around those areas.
How much time would you put more time than in a normal test week into this scrum this week, or can you give us some context on that, please?
Yeah, no, I think it'll just be, we'll do what we feel is necessary. Macca's is really smart around what he does with the units, and again, it's that balance of how much you do, and then just making sure there's lots of like where we are conditioning wise in around going into Saturday, but I don't see it being any different to any other week.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, boys. Thank you.
Jeremy Langdon, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi, how you doing?
Okay, yeah, we've got Mako here, so off you go.
Hi, Mako, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Just some reactions to Saturday and what it meant to you to come off the bench and play your part in such an historic win.
Yeah, we're obviously very pleased to get the tour off the way we wanted. To win against the world champions in their backyard is never easy. And also, as a team, we're very pleased with the result. But we know that this weekend will be the biggest game of the tour.
Did you have a point to prove yourself on Saturday?
No, not all. Obviously, preparation-wise, it's not the same. Having to come in, unfortunately, for win. And for me, it was just a case of doing my job for the team, making sure that I come off the bench and add impetus. And felt like the whole matchday squad or the whole squad themselves did their job.
Erasmus has labelled you reckless and dangerous for hauling up Cheslin Colby in the second half. What do you remember about that incident, and how would you react to that?
What do I remember? I just remember trying to get the ball in, but I saw that he'd gone down, and I guess it's one of those things in the heat of the moment. You just react how you would normally, but he seemed to be all right. He played on the game, so it wasn't that reckless, was it?
And what do you make too the way the bomb squad failed to go off at them? You know, replacing the front row at half time. What did you make of the bomb squad fizzling out?
No, it wasn't anything to do with them. I think we just had to concentrate on what we can do. We know the strength they have on the bench, and we understood that when we came on, we had to make sure that we did our job for the team, and luckily we did, and we were happy with the way it ended.
Thanks so much.
Mako, can I just take you back to the back end of last week? When did you find out that you were definitely involved in the Test 23?
I found out definitely on the Thursday, I think, which was it Thursday? No, the Friday actually, sorry. So we trained on the Thursday, and obviously I knew that Wynne was carrying a bit of a knock, but it was confirmed on the Friday morning, so I kind of always knew that I had to be ready to, if I was needed, come in and do my job, and luckily the boys helped me get up to speed quickly.
I guess when you're on your third tour, nothing like that really phases you anymore, does it?
No, I think it's just as players that we weren't involved, we spoke about that. We had to make sure that we gave the boys who were playing best preparation, but also understand that we had to be ready that if anything happened, that we come in and do our job for the team. So no, anyone that was called on late would have been prepared to do the same thing, I feel.
Steve's just said Wynne is a bit of a doubt for this weekend, but no one else will be coming out as cover. Does that mean Xander, Tiger or Carl may be having to do a bit of loose head practice just in case?
I'm not too sure who would be covering loose head, to be honest, but I guess that's the question for the coaches to think about. And as I said, like if we need to, one of them will probably have a little go this afternoon. I can't say that any of them would be excited going across, to be honest.
How quickly did the atmosphere change after Saturday from celebration and winning the game to let's get back to business?
Pretty much in the change room, to be honest. Came in and Wynne just spoke to us. We're obviously delighted with the result, but we fully comprehend that this weekend it'll be an even bigger challenge. They'll be wounded after that, and with the series on the line, we know that it's going to be a step up again this weekend.
When you think back to 2013, obviously you won the first test in Brisbane, down to Melbourne, and that was a nail biter as well. Just because you win the first test doesn't guarantee you anything, does it?
No, exactly. Not just 2013. We've spoken about in 2001 when they won the series there as well, and won the first test, and then they ended up losing the series. So that was one game. That's one part of three. On to the next one now, and again there'll be a fresh, clean slate this weekend, and we know that anything that happened on Saturday doesn't really matter this weekend.
You may not be that surprised to hear, but an awful lot of people are talking about Mauro's performance on Saturday. As someone who's known him for as long as you have, does anything he does surprise you anymore?
I guess you kind of get used to it when you're playing with him and you're in and around him every day in training. So everything he does on the field is product of what he does away from it. So trains hard, works his socks off, to be fair to him, and pays dividends. Can come weekend, he puts in performances like that. But no, you're still in awe a little bit as well. The amount of work he got through, the level of physicality, and just how he's able to kind of move on to the next job without thinking too much. Something that he's got better and better with as he's got older.
Thank you, Mako.
Hi, Michael. How would you describe the way you kind of react when you find out that you weren't initially in the 23 when the team was announced to the squad last week? And I just want to try and get an idea of the mentality of the guys who don't make that squad, and, you know, how much it means to them to try and break in.
It's obviously different for everyone, but for myself personally, it was hard. The initial reaction was frustration, and you start wondering what you could have done. But the best thing about it is Gats was very open about it, and said that anyone wants to speak about selection, come and talk to me, and every player who wanted to do that did that. But as soon as you get past that, you congratulate your teammate who's got the opportunity to go out there and represent you. So you get it for yourself, but you also know that you still have a massive role to play in terms of trying to help the team prepare as well as they can.
I'm not sure you could have asked a similar question earlier, but was that in your mind when you came in, when you got onto the pitch, you thought, right, I've got this chance now. This is something I have to grasp.
Exactly. I think having been fortunate enough to play in some games before for the Lions, I understood that if I did get the opportunity, that I had to make sure that I did my job, and but fully grasped take hold of it and make sure I don't waste that opportunity, because there's 15, 13, 14 other lads that would love to be in my position. So I didn't really. I tried not to undersell it and just making sure that I went out there and did my job.
Cheers, Michael.
Hi, Mako. Warren said to us yesterday that when you first came on the tour, he told you weren't fit enough. How did you take that, and what improvements have been made on that score?
Yeah, I think fitness has always been something that I have to keep on top of since I've started, really. So no, it was obviously a step up coming into the Lions camp, having not been in for the first week of Jersey, I think, but I knew that condition-wise that I was in good hands here with the S&C staff and medical staff here to get myself to a place where I'm able to help the team. So no, it's one of those things where you just, nothing really, there's no shortcuts about it. It just takes a lot of hard work, extras off the field with the team around.
And he also said he adjusted, or the Lions have adjusted your scrummaging technique. What exactly have you done in that area?
Yeah, obviously coming here and working with Muckers, he's been great for me, just looking at things differently, the way I'm able to set up and where I'm able to use my bind and stuff like that. So little tweaks here and there has allowed me to present better pictures, but also give me a chance to attack a little bit more. So no, it's been great for me coming here and finding new ways of trying to scrum, really, or different techniques, really.
Thank you.
Mako, hi. Is it a career first for you to be called out by a rival coach on social media?
On social media, maybe, but no. I think the same happened in 2013 when their coach, or not coach, but someone, Bob Dwyer, said something about my scrummaging as well then. So, but maybe, yeah, probably the first time a coach has said something.
It just, I don't know, do you find it a bit surreal? Are you a bit surprised? I mean, you said you didn't think what you did was reckless, so I guess you're just a bit baffled, eh?
Oh, I guess if he was really hurt, then it is a bit reckless. But I just felt like the collision wasn't that bad. I saw that people were putting it up and mentioning it, but I guess we were behind at the time. We just wanted to get a bit of tempo in the game, so I wanted to get the ball off him. And if I did hurt him, then I do apologise. But as I mentioned, in the heat of the moment, you kind of just playing and reacting as you would naturally.
Just last one from me. Just how does it feel as a pack after what you achieved at the weekend and how you want to keep that going? It's sort of quite a psychological statement, I guess, you've made, and you want to keep that going.
No, we understood fully that to beat the world champions, you had to take them on up front. So for us, we knew the challenge going into the game, and it's no different. I think we're obviously, as I mentioned earlier, we're pleased with how the game went on Saturday, but we understand that this weekend is going to be a bigger challenge, and what we did last week won't matter, and it won't be enough this week. So we're looking forward to another big test now, and it's all a case of getting our preparation right to go out and give our best shot.
Thank you.
Hey, Mac, I just wanted to ask you, can you talk us through the scrum penalty that you guys won? I think it was the 67th minute. It was such a big moment for the team, or at least that's how it seemed. Did it presumably seem that way to you too?
Yeah, definitely. I think for us, as I mentioned there, the scrum or the set piece battle was key in this game, and in terms of that scrum, we were kind of under the pump a little bit in our half. Didn't help ourselves by putting ourselves under pressure a little bit, and as a pack, we knew that the easiest way to get out of there was to try and get something out of the scrum, whether it was clean delivery or a penalty like we did. So no, it was massive for us just to relieve the pressure a little bit, but also kind of get us back on their half.
And did it kind of persuade you that you can do that over and over again?
I think we felt as a team that if we get our process right, that we can pose them some threat in the scrum. And the very first scrum when I came on, we tried, but it doesn't happen the first one or the second one. It takes a bit going. And no, we were very happy with getting that penalty, as I mentioned, to get ourselves up the pitch a bit.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. Cheers, Mackie.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.